serious. Redditors who witnessed a murder, what is your story? Saw my friend get shot in the head and died a few minutes later during a crossfire between her oldest brother and the police. Was very heartbreaking. I still miss her 22 years later. We were playing on a field next to her house and her brother was watching us. He pulled a gun out, started shooting as soon as he saw the police. I didn't think this would get a lot of attention. Thank you for all the awards and all the happy cake days, for the ones who post it on here. For some reason I cannot see them on the post. But thank you. Sorry if I have not replied to anyone. Used to work at a movie theater. I would change the sign near the road in the middle of the night. I saw a taxi pull up to the bus stop. It stayed there for quite some time. That's what caught my attention was how long it was there for. Saw a dude get out and quickly walk away. A week later I was changing the sign again, and I hear a voice below asking me to come down. After he showed me his badge I obliged, and he asked if I had seen anything weird the week before. I replied, only that a taxi had sat there for a while and a guy got out. I had to then go look at lots of mugshots. Turns out I was the sole witness to some poor bastard's murder without even realizing it. Wish I had a better look at the guy, so I could get him some justice. I saw a few in Mexico. The most memorable one was the first one I saw while I lived there. I was cleaning out a house with some buddies of mine. A guy was walking down the block. We heard gunshots. I looked out the window and there was that same guy laying out on the sidewalk. A black pickup truck sped by. I think there were 4 guys on back. All with bandanas covering their faces. All with guns in their hands. The thing that stuck with me is they all looked younger than me. I was 22 at the time. According to the paper that was released right after he was from out of town and likely they mistook him as someone else, he was 17. His blood was left on the streets for days. One of my friends said he heard 14 shots, but I only heard 6. I have the whole experience written down as it was so foreign to me. This was in Altamirano. I used to stay up late at night trying to think of what kind of life would lead those guys to do a drive-by like that. I also wonder about that 17-year-old. I'm sure he had family visiting there. When I was 6 my family went to see Sesame Street on Ice downtown. When we were leaving a little girl my age was struck by a van and dragged across the parking lot. I remember the mother jumping on the windshield screaming at the driver while the van was still moving. My mom was a nurse and was helping until the ambulance arrived, but she was already dead. I can still remember the screams and lifeless body of that little girl. This was over 30 years ago. Welp, that's enough of this thread. I'm out. Jesus, what did I even expect coming in here? Was at a bar. Couple guys got into an argument. The whole thing subsides. Then a few hours later one of them leaves. As the guy is leaving, the other guy he was arguing with earlier runs outside and punches him in the back of the head killing him instantly. Only other time I've seen someone die was on the highway, not murder here. Guy jumped off a bridge I was driving under, had a rope tied off and hanged himself. Got smashed by a truck before he died though, caused a really big mess. Hell maybe the rope broke his neck before getting plowed into. IDK. An old neighbor of mine was 6 feet 5 inches and like 250 pounds. Got smacked on the head with a bottle at a bar and got permanent brain damage because he told a guy to fuck off for hitting on his girlfriend. He now has difficulty talking and has trouble remembering how to do menial tasks some days. Avoid arguments at bars if you can. You never know how they may impact your life. I was standing at a crosswalk. The guy next to me started walking. It was pre-dawn, and without looking so did I. The guy behind me grabbed my collar and yanked me back to the sidewalk. I spun around pissed off. The guy in front of me got hit by a car speeding through the intersection. I freaked out and called 911, but the guy died before the ambulance got there. The guy that pulled me back was gone. White guy, sunglasses, tan coat. Guy that got hit was fit as hell, wearing a grey windbreaker. The same thing happened to my grandma. She was running errands in town and was standing on a corner waiting to cross. Traffic cleared a bit and she wasn't really paying attention, so she started to walk across the street. She felt a strong hand grab her shoulder and pull her back to the curb just as a bus came careening by. She turned around to thank whoever it was, but there was no one there. She claimed it was an angel till the day she died. Saw my neighbor murdered in cold blood in my own driveway. My neighbor was helping his lady friend escape a very abusive relationship. Lady's ex hunted her down like a dog. Saw my neighbor walking back home with her after they went to get food for his kids. Heard 3 loud pops. I ran outside to find her screaming and him blown out of his shoes and into my driveway. He had a hole in his chest big enough to put my fist in. There was nothing I could do to save him except sit with him and hold his hand while I prayed for him to pass quickly. I'll never forget that night. 48 hours later I broke the lease on my house and moved in with my boyfriend, who lives in a much safer borough. You were an awesome neighbor and a wonderful father, Kane. You're certainly missed. Was going to work one day when a van hit a cyclist. Saw the person fly through the air. Looked like a mannequin. I kept talking to the body, but with blood coming from his ears, I knew he was dead. Unfortunately, they never released the name of the victim. I would have liked to have visited the grave. Some of the other witnesses were messed up, but I was, and still am, okay with it. I read that one's hearing is the last thing to go. If I'm ever in that bad situation again, I will talk more conversationally. My brother died in a motorcycle accident and someone who saw it apparently held him until the ambulance arrived. I can't imagine how hard that must have been for her, but I'm forever grateful. I regret not telling her so, but I was a teenager and pretty messed up about it for a long while. Thank you for what you did. I've sworn to myself to do the same if the situation arises, even though I think it would torture me. I hope I would be brave enough, but I truly hope to never have the chance to find out. Was walking home one day and saw a couple arguing. The dude started walking off away from the girlfriend's car, and apparently she was not happy with that. She proceeded to get in the car and wait about 5 minutes till he was way off down the sidewalk. I was walking on the opposite side of the road as him and all of a sudden I see a blur and he goes flying like a rocket. She must have been going at least 60 miles per hour. He flew through the air and hit a tree, died instantly. The lady then screamed out the window at his body and drives away. There was blood smeared all over the crumpled hood and I'll never forget the sight of his contorted body at the base of the tree, almost folded in half. I had to talk to the police, and within the hour they caught her at a car wash, trying to clean the blood and chunks off the hood and grill of her car. I was 16 at the time. For those of you concerned, thank you. I actually did have to see a therapist for a few months after. I'm doing very well right now. However, I don't think I'll ever fully get over it. It's one of those things that always sticks with you. I was around 8 to 9 years old, and we were in a vacation village. While we were doing checkout with my family, my father was at the desk. While we were waiting at the lobby couches, an argument broke out between 2 guys who were at the lobby bar. I actually don't know what it was about, because it was in another language. One of the guys grabbed a bottle, smashed it, and attacked the other one, hit him in the neck. That guy fell on the floor, and there were blood all over the place. My mother closed my eyes after that, and took us out, while other people get involved. Years later I've learned that guy lost his life. I saw one guy try to dramatically break a beer bottle at a bar during a fight. He smashed it on the table, and instead of the end breaking off like in the movies, it broke down the middle and slashed his hand to hell. Blood was gushing.